So this is, I don't know if anybody shows up or anybody's planning to be there, but hopefully this will help. Wanted to make sure the content is being seen. Let's share content. And where is, okay. So let's share this. Hopefully everybody can see this. Today's topic is understanding income producing activities and tips and ideas to maximize productivity. This will be recorded and will be uploaded to the SDA Properties YouTube page a little bit later for anybody that wants a copy of this. Uh, Not sure if anybody has joined us. Feel free to put a comment in the chat box or say hello if you joined us. I know that people are on Realtor time, so that means that sometimes they have other things to do. I get that. All right, so let's briefly talk about understanding income producing activities. 85% of your day should be obligated to income producing activity. And since most of us have difficulty staying focused on income producing activity, it's important we review them today and look deeper into each one of them so we can focus on fully understand their importance. And then we'll talk about tips on being productive. There are 5 income producing activities. Prospecting or lead generation is the foundational cornerstone of any successful real estate business. And that could be calling, door knocking, doing open houses, meeting with past clients or sphere for lunch, for coffee, hosting a client appreciation party. It could be any of the above. It could also be geographic farming, etc. But you need to have a pipeline of people that are going to refer you. People are going to buy, sell, or invest. And we have to work on that consistently. So that's an important aspect, especially if you're newer to the business or if you don't have as much production, you need to spend your time there. So again, prospecting or lead generation, and we're not going to spend too much time on that since this is not the focus of today. Then lead follow-up. We must become fanatical about lead follow-up. Don't overprotect your lead, overcall them. 82% of your business will come from lead follow-up. Sorry about that. Most appointments happen between the 5th and the 12th contact. I think MIT did a study that if you get a new lead, you have a 95% conversion rate if you call them within 5 minutes of them calling your number or going into your website. Okay. Lead follow up is nurturing your investment. I've always mentioned to agent if you had a $20 bill, you might as well throw it on the floor or flush it down the toilet because that's what you're doing if you're doing an open house or you're paying money for leads and then you're not following up. Most people are going to need follow up, and you need to schedule time to do that. Okay, so that's another productive activities that you need to really focus on. Then clearly, if you've done lead generation and prospecting and lead follow up, you're going to get appointments. And the key is to go on valid qualified buyer appointments and seller appointments. Okay. So that's another, as you get busy, more of your day is going to be going on appointments and negotiate. Next point is negotiating contracts. Seller hire us for 2 reasons: get their home sold and negotiate the contract to the highest dollar amount possible. Okay. So we're not going to negotiate every day, even if we're great. But that being the case, that's our goal, that the afternoon and evenings we're spending time going on appointments or negotiating contracts. When I'm also talking about negotiating contracts, I'm talking about price reductions. And on days that you don't have appointments, you could do more lead follow up and lead generation. Here's another aspect: script practice and role play. Practice your scripts, your dialogues, your closing techniques, your objection handlers daily will make you more money in the future than any other exercise. Sharpen your skill. So you should practice at least 30 minutes a day. 10 of those should be objection handling. You could have role play partners. It doesn't hurt to practice your listing presentation once a week, especially if you're not going on a lot of presentations. You want to be sharp and conversational. So these are the 5 productive activities: putting a sign in the yard, meeting an appraiser, meeting a termite person, meeting a photographer, putting a lockbox is not an income producing activity. It's an administrative activity. Inputting the property into the MLS, following up on showings, or scheduling a showing, it's not an income producing activity. So it's not the thing that should take most of your day. You got to start being comfortable with being uncomfortable and talk to people. Don't be a secret agent. So that's the important part there. Okay. So now let's talk about that was just a brief introduction to the importance. And now we'll talk about tips and ideas to become more productive. Once you know where your day should be spent, now let's talk about tips and ideas to make you more productive. To be successful in real estate, you need to be committed to improving your production on a daily basis. In that regards, here are some ideas or tips that can help you increase your production, regardless of the type of prospecting or lead generation that you do. And it's important for you to set goals. So number one, be obsessive about managing your time effectively. Develop the discipline to plan your day with a focus on production. The only purpose you should be calling people is to set appointments, not just to get leads. The only reason you're doing a marketing piece is to get leads that will be generated to appointments. So be obsessive about managing your time effectively. And again, get rid of non important activities. What you do from the time you wake up till about 12 noon is the key. You need to keep yourself away from distractions and uh, time sucking vultures out there. Number two, remind yourself daily that it's your job and hold yourself to the same standard if you were, in fact, in a real job. I know we're an independent contractors, but you own your own business. You are the job, regardless of who you are with an SDA property or any other company that you're with. So you got to hold yourself to those standards. You've got to set a time that you're actually at your office or your home office, whatever it is, and a time that you quit for the day. And you got to take it seriously. Okay. Here's another important point. Treat your prospecting time as an important appointment that you have to keep. Block off your calendar and do not digress until you absolutely have to. So, all of you are not going to miss a listing appointment, I'm sure. All of you are not going to miss showing a buyer a qualified buyer homes. And I'm sure most of you or all of you will probably attend your open houses when you have them. Well, treat your prospecting in the same manner. Don't find excuses that I have to work on my CRM or I have to put something on MLS or make a change. You can do that another time. Or I got to check with escrow. Those are all excuses that are valid for yourself. Treat your prospecting as an important appointment because what you do today will affect you 30, 60, 90 days. The actions you don't take today will affect you 30, 60, 90 days. Have an early morning routine that focuses on lead generation and lead follow up. My goal every day is to have that being done as early as possible. So if the day goes wired and things go wrong, I don't feel guilty about it, that hopefully I've done my job and then I'm going to have appointments later on. So again, have a morning routine. Get the thing that you don't want to do done early so you don't have excuses. Okay. Embrace the reality that you'll have periods of frustration. We're human beings, fear, and even loneliness, and even doubt. To think otherwise, to ignore the fact that which is only leads to more frustration. It's okay to have a bad day or several bad days, but don't dwell on it and don't keep having those. We're human. We're not robot. Don't wait till you're perfect. Don't wait for a better day. Just go out and take action. Motion equals emotion. Taking action in your business will lead you to more productivity. Embrace the reality that you'll have days that are not going to be as great or hours, etc. That's part of the job. So again, you need to start having structure, and it's really about what your priorities are. When you associate lead generation and prospecting equals productivity, you'll put more time and effort into that. Here's another point to make you productive. Lean on accountability partners, whether it's your broker, your sales manager, coaches, role play partners, your significant other. They'll provide you with objective feedback. Send them your daily schedule. Let them know if you're calling people or door knocking, how many calls or door knocks you want to make, how many leads, how many appointments you're trying to set. Let them know what your schedule looks like and lean on them. Have partners, accountability partners that are as good or better than you. That's the important part. But have accountability partners. Let people know what you're planning to do and help them as well. Keeps the morale going. It keeps you accountable, especially when you've written it down and told somebody about that. Hope that makes sense. Number six, reward yourself frequently for reaching your short term goals. Don't just focus on the long term. Focus on the small incremental success. Ask yourself, what's the most important thing I can do right now that will move my business forward? And celebrate small successes. Congratulations, you made 5 calls. Congratulations, you hit 5 doors. Congratulations, you got out of your comfort zone and you had that conversation with a seller about the price and about the reality. Take action. Enjoy the small victory. You got yourself an escrow, enjoy it, but move on, find the next deal. So reward yourself frequently for reaching short-term goals. And it could be, I'm gonna be on the phone for an hour, or I'm gonna make, 50 dials or 100 dials, whatever the case might be. But set realistic short-term goals and reward yourself. It's really important to build that habit of feeling good about what you're doing and about yourself and seeing progress. It's all about progress, even if you're not at your final destination. You got to reframe your thinking and you got to see progress. You got to see improvement, if that makes sense. Okay. If anybody has any questions so far before I continue, feel free to reach out. This is not going to be a long webinar, but again, feel free to reach out if you have any questions or comments. Here's another point to make you more productive. Develop a business plan. If you don't have a business plan, it's the perfect time to create one. Once your plan is written down, keep it handy. Look at it multiple times, maybe early morning and evening. You should review your plans at the bare minimum once a week. And it's okay to find out that you're not on track, see what you can do to get back on track, or maybe you will be on track. But it's important to have a plan. You can't hit a target if you don't know what you're trying to hit. So have a plan. Decide between now and December 31st at 11:59 p.m. how many deals I want to have, how many pendings, how many close, what is the income I'm looking to have, and formulate that into a plan and days that you're working, um, activities you're going to do to achieve that, and track it. That's an important point. Have a plan. Look at what you do best and put that on paper. Here's another concept. Know your numbers. Be totally diligent about tracking your performance daily, weekly, and monthly basis. Every airline, every casino, every business knows exactly their number. They know which is their good days of the week, which is the busiest and least busiest days during the week, the weekend, holidays, etc. They know when they have to offer some sort of a special. They know exactly when they can cut staff or not have as much staff. So you need to have your numbers. You need to find out how many calls you have to make before you get a live person, how many contacts you have to make to get a lead, how many leads you have to get before you get an appointment, how many appointments you have to get before you get a signed contract. Know your numbers. Know your numbers also means know what's going on with the market. And market statistic makes you an expert. People trust that and you can communicate that. But know your numbers. It's easy to track those things. And then you can communicate to your broker, to your coach, to your sales manager, and they can help you tweak the area that's ultimately lacking in productivity. But if you don't know the numbers, you don't know what's going on. Okay. So know your numbers and be very diligent on tracking. I'm not saying you got to cold call people, but if you're sending text messages, know how many texts you're sending or how many you plan to send per day if it's personalized and how many people respond. And how many of those can lead to further inquiries or appointments? Same thing with emails. A lot of softwares can track email open rates, etc. People that unsubscribe. So you need to know that, especially if you're putting marketing dollars out there. So know your numbers. You need to know what to cut and what you got to continue putting and investing time and energy. Your most precious commodity is your time. So know your numbers, your individual numbers. Also know the numbers of your market. Know your list to sell price ratio. Know the average days that properties that you're listing or your team is listing is on the market, and their list to sell price ratio versus the market. You need to know those things, be able to communicate that to sellers. Okay. You need to track how many hours you're actively prospecting or lead following up. Track how many calls you've made. Track what percentage of those calls are live conversation. Track your ratio of live calls to presentation. Numbers don't lie. It's what you're doing, working or not working. You need to track that. No reason to do the same thing expecting different results. If you're finding people are not picking up the phone early morning, well, you might want to consider shifting another time. Calling the same people in the morning again and again every morning is a waste of your time. If you can't connect with them in the morning, maybe try in the afternoon between 1 and 3. Maybe later in the day, 6, 7, or 8. But try them multiple time and see where you're getting the best response, whether for emails being open, text messages being open, or even live conversations. But again, if you're farming, if you're spending money on online advertising, social media advertising, track to see if what you're doing is working or not. And you're not going to know unless you track it. So you need to make those adjustments as you go along. Each business day, spend a few minutes and have an honest assessment of what's working and what's not working. Congratulate yourself for what you did good today that move your business forward. It doesn't have to be monumental, small increments. Focus on the smallest anchor to move your business forward. Focus on progress rather than the outcome. The outcome will take care of itself. If you do the activities and focus on progress and focus on moving forward one step at a time, you will get there as long as you are committed. Where and how did you miss the mark? What can you do different tomorrow or this week? So those are important. What adjustments you need to make tomorrow? So those are important points in order to be more productive. And so you need to think about these things in order to have the productivity you want and the business that you want, regardless whether you're planning to cold call, cold door knock, whether you do open house, whether you're focusing on your sphere of influence or past clients, relocation, online leads. You need to have a schedule and you need to track these things. And you need to focus on improvement, if that makes sense. Are there any questions, anything anybody would like for me to repeat or elaborate on? Anything that's not clear? Okay. So again, this will be posted to YouTube, the SDA Properties YouTube page, probably later today or no later than tomorrow, and you can look at that. But again, it starts understanding income producing activities. I challenge all of you to spend time maybe tomorrow or take even a week and write down what's going on through your day when you're claiming. If you're claiming you're doing real estate between 8 and 5 or 9 and 6 or 9 and 5, write down what you're doing throughout the day for that day or that week. And then check to see how many of these activities or how much time are you actually spending on income producing activities. You will probably be shocked the ratio of time you're spending on income producing activity. Top producers spend between 70 to 85% of their day on income producing activities. And if it's not on your schedule, it doesn't exist. If it's not an income producing activity, it should be either eliminated or delegated. That's the important point there. Get rid of distractions. Understand what your goal. If you don't have goals, you have no motivation for production, whatever it is. So find that why as to why you want to do that, if that makes sense. Everybody with me so far? Okay. I'll give one more tip to being productive. For those of you who work with buyers or are planning to work with buyers, and if you are going to write offers and get one of those accepted, then that's the goal. Most likely going to have a home inspection. So, how do you become productive during the 1.5, 2 hours or longer at a home inspection? Especially if the buyer is not there, even if they're there. Well, here are some ideas that you can do that I've used to do in my own business, and I highly recommend you do any or all of them because they'll lead to productivity. Number one, you want to do your AVID, agent visual inspection, if you haven't done so during the home inspection. Get that out of the way. Um, Probably the buyer, if they're there, they'll be walking around. They might bring a some sort of a vendor to take measurements or to give them an estimate, or maybe a family member, but they're really not going to be talking to you the entire time. And neither is the inspector till they're done. So once you've done your AVID, the agent visual inspection, what can you do? You can also do these things before if you get there ahead of time. You can make calls and send text messages to prospective leads, emails. You can post a social media um, post about, hey, I'm doing a home inspection for these wonderful buyers. And this is, again, just let people know that you're working. Um, you can door drop the neighborhood. You can door knock the neighborhood. Hey, I just sold this property. It's currently in escrow, and we have other buyers interested in moving into this area. Do you know anybody else looking to sell? Looking for more leads. And if you don't like the door knocking, drop a flyer, drop a postcard, drop your business card. Better than sitting around. Um, there were times where I did a home inspection and the buyers were not there or kept running late. And the inspector doing what they're doing. If I wasn't door dropping, door knocking, calling, texting, or emailing, or doing a social media post, I would sometimes even role play in my mind certain scripts, dialogues, objection handlers, taking some activity versus, oh my God, I got to be here for an hour and a half, 2 hours or longer. So you could do things to move your business forward, but it's all about being very scheduled, very structured. And again, there's nothing wrong with also being at that home inspection. And as you're talking to the buyers and their family, hey, you know what? I really enjoy working with you, and I'm going to be disappointed and sorry that we're losing you as a client as you're buying this house. Who else do you know that I can help? It's all about being out there, not being a secret agent, and just being active. Questions, comments, feedbacks, concerns? Okay, since this is all I have to cover, and your time is precious. I appreciate people's time if they were on this call, and this again will be on the SDA Properties um, YouTube page either later today or tomorrow sometime.